Hey everybody! There is so much chatter going on about bike change dilemma, why it's contentious, what you can do about it, and how to make the right decision. Hey everybody, this is an unusual video for me. Usually I just put out one recon for each of the rides, but there is so much chatter going on about the bike change dilemma that I wanted to do a quick video to just walk through why it's contentious, what you can do about it, and how to make the right decisions. So there's some talking I'm going to do. I've got some slides, and hopefully by the end of this, you will have a very clear idea of why and when you should make a change or whether it's just not for you. So if you want that, you can jump pretty much all the way to the end, and I've got one slide that sums it up. But if you're going to ask all the questions, then listen to what I have to say, because that should back everything. All right, why is it contentious? Well, the first reason is because the performance benefits that you get based on making a bike change depend on the category that you're in. Not truly the category, it's more about the power that you put out. But of course, the higher the category or the better the category that you're in, the more likely you are to put out more power. And that makes a big difference here. So what do I mean by that? A's are traveling faster than D's, generally speaking. So the benefits of any given bike are greater for D's than they are for A's. The question is, by how much? The time to change bikes, reason 2, time to change bikes differs based on the platform you're using. So in my experiments, on a PC, I can change bikes in 12 seconds. On an Apple TV, it takes me 25 seconds. So obviously, the benefit differs based on which platform I'm on. Performance benefits vary by fitness. The fitter you are, the more likely you are to be able to cope with varying circumstances, like needing to be able to put out 40 watts extra on the flat because you're on the wrong bike and you're trying to keep up with everybody. Conversely, the less fit you are, the more likely you are to be on the limit at any point. And so if anything goes down, you'll break and get spat out the back. The time to change bikes depends on your skill level at changing bikes. It takes me 12 seconds on my PC, as I said. It takes Jim Withers 8 seconds to make the same change. And lastly, you're not on your own. It's not just about how much performance you put out or how much. It's not just about how much performance you put out or how quickly you can make the change. Much depends on who else is in the race, what they're doing, and what exactly the pack around you is doing at any point in time. So there you go. There's the 5 reasons. Let's break them down, a bit more information on each. These are the numbers. The top 2 are from Zwift Insider. The other 2 are from me. So if you're a Cat A putting out 375 watts for the climb up, then the benefit from changing bikes is about 20 seconds on a 6-minute climb. Cat B doing about 300 watts, it's 26 seconds on a 7-minute. Your Cat C, like I am, doing around 200 watts, it's a 34-second benefit on a 9-minute climb. And if you're a Cat D putting out around 150 watts, you're probably looking at a 45-second benefit on a 12-minute. These are all approximate, of course. They're based on a 75-kilogram rider, which conveniently is what Zwift Insider use as their rider, and is what I am for my Cat C numbers. So that's handy. The benefits do change based on what's per kilo as well. So if you're a heavier rider, I think there's more benefit to the change of being on the right bike than if you're a light rider. Okay, time to change varies by platform. I gave you my numbers for a PC and a Mac, 12 seconds, which makes for an 8-second actual difference because some of that time you're slowing down. So it's not 12 seconds behind, it's 8 seconds behind. If I'm on a PC and Mac where I usually put my PC and Mac keyboard, or my PC keyboard, which is not where I'm on the bike, then I have to get off the bike, go over and make the change remotely, then get back on the bike. That's an 18-second lapse time, around 12 seconds behind the pack. If I'm on an iPod or an iPhone or an Android, it takes me about 20 seconds, which puts me 13 seconds behind the pack. And the worst of all, if I'm on my Apple TV, it takes me about 25 seconds just because the UI is awful. And that puts me about 15 seconds behind. So again, the platform that I'm on will impact how much a difference it is. Okay, talked a little about fitness and flexibility. I won't spend too long on this slide. I'm not fit. To stay in the top group or to stay in any group, I am on the limit in a race. If I'm on the wrong bike, like if I'm on the Canyon Grail and everyone else is on a really good road bike on a road, then I'm going to get spat out in seconds and I'm never going to recover and I'm never going to catch up. You can trust my level of fitness, not the category I'm in, that's different, but my level of fitness with the level of fitness my head coach, Courtney Rowan King, has. He's very, very fit and he has the racecraft to know what to do, things I don't have. He helps me with racecraft, and he helps me get fit, but he can't make me as fit as he is. He is okay staying in the lead pack, hanging out there, and if he has to push to the red for whatever reason, he can do that and recover quite quickly afterwards. So recovering from exertion and being able to put out that exertion in the first place, over and above your kind of standard on the limit, is a really important part of being able to be flexible within the race. All right, the bike change, time to change varies on your skill at manipulating the menus. So, as I said, it takes me 8 seconds, leaving me, it takes me 12 seconds, leaving me 8 seconds behind. It takes Bill Withers 8 seconds to do the change, leaving him 5 seconds behind. So he's in a much better position than I am in executing the change. It's another side issue that I have here, side point I'm making here. The bike that you choose is not always about the best bike. Because when you're making a change, if you've got to scroll down to get to between the bike you're on now to the bike you're going to, that takes time. But the best bike combination in the game for what we're talking about here is the Cervelo 2020 for the road and the Canyon Grail for the hill, for the KOM, for the dirt. And good news, they're right next to each other in the menu. So if you're level 27, I think it is, you should have that Cervelo. The Canyon Grail is already available by then, if I recall correctly. And you are set to go. Just get the best wheels for that Cervelo and your change should be a lot faster. The other option is the Tron and the Super Caliber. A couple of people have suggested that. It's okay, but if you can get that Cervelo, that's the way to go. All right, the last of them, and probably the most comprehensive. You're not on your own. What other people in the race are doing is quite important here. This is not a TT. You can draft off other people. So here are some things that we have to bear in mind. What if no one else in your ride changes bikes? What if everybody changes bikes? You're the only one left on a road bike going up that hill or on a gravel bike on all the tarmac. What if your race descends into a conga line going up that hill? And so it's not a question of having a blob and then nobody behind. A lot of people have talked about it, I've seen in the chat, and in fact my chats with Eric from Zwift Insider, that if you're going up that hill, you stop to change bikes, but nobody else stops to change bikes, and you then set off again. You're on your own, and there's a lead pack. But in my experience with races, on a hill like that, that is up 5, 6, 7, 8%, and then down 5, 6, 8, 7, it's not sensible. If it goes up 5, 6, 7, 8, down minus 5, 6, 7, 8 in the space of a few meters, which it does on this particular climb, then everybody is going to operate differently. It will be very hard to maintain one single lead group or one single group at all the way up that climb. I believe it will fragment, and that again increases the benefit or decreases the penalty you will pay for drafting, because my belief is you're a little bit behind, the lead group will fragment, and you will be able to catch up quite quickly by drafting as you go through some of the riders that didn't make the bike change. All right. So, best practices, very quickly. So if you're going to think about doing a change, I've already covered the first one. The best bike combination is that Cervelo and the Canyon Grail, because they are great bikes. Also, they're right next to each other in the menu, which makes changing between them very simple. Second, the best place to change to the Grail, assuming you go with the Grail, is on that bridge with the fishing hut, right before the village where you take the left turn towards the dirt. The reason for that is because there's a very slight uphill, 2%, that will slow you down. It's also on wood, and I don't know if that has an effect on rolling resistance. It may do, but I haven't looked. If you don't want to do that, then the next part is actually what I recommended in the recon, which is as you make the turn. It's almost as good, but it's flat, and so you will roll for just a little bit longer before you come to a halt. The best place to change to a road bike, in my opinion, is immediately you go through the KOM. There's that wooden bridge. It's fairly flat. It may be a 1% descent, but it's fairly flat. So you'll be going slow because you've just done the entire KQOM. You'll be gassed. So a 12 to 15 to 20 second break will be really handy to just try and bring that heart rate down just a touch. And if you're already ahead of everyone else because you made it up that hill faster because you made the change, it gives you've got some gap for them to catch up without it being dangerous. The other place, and the place where I recommended in the original recon, was as you hit the tarmac, and that's not a bad second option, but you will be moving at speed as you come down the dirt hill, and so again the time to stop will be longer. So I think on balance the best place to make that change is as you go through, just as you've gone through the KOM. If nothing else, even if it was like for like, I would say the fact that you can then take that very short break and bring the heart rate down would be handy. I did this myself, and I noticed my heart rate dropped just in the time it took to make the change back to the road bike. My heart rate dropped 5, 6, 7 points. So there you go. And then the other one, this is maybe a little contentious, I don't know. If you change once, change every time the terrain changes. The reason I say that is as the race progresses, I think power will come down, and with lower power comes more benefit. And also, the riders are more likely to fragment into smaller groups. So at the start, you can have a big pack, lead group, all together, big draft benefit. By the time you're later into the race, by the time you're on the second climb of the KOM, or for the A's and B's, the third time of the those groups will have fragmented into little groups of 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, right? And so as you get that, you'll get more of a conga line feel, and you get more benefit as you're going up the hill. So I think the minute you start making that change, that's the time you probably stick with the change. All right, so enough justification for what I'm going to say. What am I actually going to say and recommend? So I've broken this down to cat A, B, C, D, and 3 kind of models, if you like. First one is you're in the top group, you're leading the top group, and feeling fine. The second is you're in the top group or maybe the second group and you're gasping. The third is there's a conga line of people, it's broken down, and you're somewhere in the middle of that conga. All right, so there's our matrix. Let's see what I've got to say. So if you're an A, here's what I say. If you're in the A's and you're in your top group, the lead group, and you're feeling great, don't change unless you can do a really fast change or everyone else does. If you are in that leading group in a B, where power is down a little from the A's, probably want to make a change if you know how to do a decent one. And definitely if somebody else in that group also makes a change, right? So look at what's happening around you and make your decision based on that. C's, in that same, you're in the top group, what do? It's just slightly more likely that you should make that change than if you're in a B. Power's lower, and that's the big differentiator. And then D's, I think the D's really should. If you're in the D's and you're really trying to get as many points as you can, to me, the benefit has no question. All right, so my second category, you're gasping and you're still in the top group, but you're worried you're going to get kicked out of it. If you're worried that you're going to get kicked out of it, I think for the A's, the benefit is less than the other categories, but I think that if you're likely to get dropped from the lead group, then you need the benefit of having the best bike to make the change. If you're in the B's, it's a little bit like the A's, but the case is stronger. So I would say you probably do want to make that change. C's and D's, definitely make the change. If you don't think you can make it at the front of that group, you should be able to pick that time up if you make the change without putting out as much effort. Put it in context. I did this today when I switched bikes and went for it. I beat my personal PR by 35 seconds going up. And that's, I think, because I had the right bike. It wasn't the best power I'd ever put going up that hill, but it was 35 seconds faster than any other time I'd gone up. And I'm a C. All right, you're in the middle of a conga line and you're just trying to make the best progress you can, try and make up a little bit of ground, try and make up a little bit of, maybe you can get into the top 10 for FTL or first across the line, but you definitely want to try and improve your overall position in the game so that you can get more points for finishing. If you're an A in that position, I think you probably want to make the change. Again, you've got to be able to do a reasonably decent change, right? Don't take 30 seconds about it. I think that probably calls into question whether there's any benefit at all. But if you can get a reasonable change done, sub 20 seconds, you should probably make a change. I think B's, C's, and D's, if you're in the mid-pack, there is definite benefit to making a change. So there you go. That should give everybody something to pick on. Hopefully my justifications all worked for you. And there you go. I'm not actually racing on Tuesday. The team that I'm in, we're third in our division. And we decided that the right thing to do here was not give people a go if they want to go. We've been quite democratic about things up until now. We got a shot at getting into the playoffs. So we're fielding our best team. And I'm going to DS, so I'll be live streaming that. And if you want to have a look at what I do when I DS a team of 6 people who are going to be all over the field, then by all means tune in. And I'll actually be taking the footage from that and the footage from DSing last season and turning it into some lessons learned and some lessons on how to direct a sportive Zwift race. So there we go. Between now and whenever I see you guys next, ride on.